Hey guys, Laura Whitmore here with STP. If you're watching this video, you are probably taking the August SAT this weekend. Whether you're taking the paper test or the digital SAT, taking a test like the SAT is really a numbers game. Think of yourself at a casino playing blackjack. You're really just playing the odds. So in this video, I'm gonna give you 10 very practical tips to help you play the odds of the SAT so you can maximize your score without doing any additional studying. Stick around for tip number 10. It is by far my favorite tip of the group. Now, real quick, guys, I want to have a heart-to-heart with you because the SAT does not measure how intelligent you are. So please do not define yourself based on your score. However, do you know what does measure intelligence? It's actually hitting the subscribe button and notification bell below. Believe it or not, statistics have shown people who hit the subscribe button and notification bell below on my channel are far more intelligent than people who do not. And that being said, why don't you guys go ahead and comment below and let me know what is the smartest thing you have done besides watching this video and subscribing to my channel to prep for the August SAT that's coming up. As always, this video is brought to you by Preply, the digital SAT prep app that is available in the App Store and Google Play for your mobile device or your iPad. Guys, you can prep on the go. You don't have to be tied down to a computer. You also do not have to sit down and do a full digital SAT test every time you prep. With Preply, you can prep when you want, where you want. You can pick what kinds of questions you want to prep from, whether they be drills so that you can master a certain type of question, or quizzes so that you can work on your pacing. You can also have fun competing against other users in the app for a chance to get on the weekly top 10 leaderboard. And we have some really awesome updates coming, top secret. So just, keep an eye out for that. So if you are definitely having a tough time finding materials to prep for the DSAT, I know that questions are limited. Download Preply today to get exclusive, unique questions that are just like those from College Board. All right, guys, I'm gonna link up here so you can download Preply today, and the link will also be in the description, so check that out. All right, guys, let's get into my 10 last-minute tips to prep for the August SAT, starting with tip number 1, which is clock management. Listen, guys, if you're looking at the clock every minute or two, that is counterproductive because it's going to waste too much time for you. So I need you to set limits when it comes to watching the clock and your clock management. So for instance, if you're taking the paper SAT, I want you to watch the clock only once every passage. You should take about 13 minutes per passage. So after you finish the fiction, take a look at the clock and see how your pacing is going. If you're taking the digital SAT, my recommendation would be to hide the clock and then check the clock once every 10 questions or so and have an idea based on what module you're on, what your pacing needs to be for 10 questions. That way you'll know if you need to pick up the pace or slow down the pace, but then you won't be obsessed with the clock and you can actually focus on the matter at hand, which is answering the questions. Tip number 2 is a guessing strategy called majority rules. So if you are stuck on a question, whether it's in the writing section or the math sections, and you have no idea, you can actually use this strategy where you look at all the answer choices and cross off oddballs or ones that look different than the others. What you want to do is get it down to the answer choice that has most in common with the other answer choices, because that is probably going to be the right one. It works great on math questions with unique characteristics in them, like square roots or exponents, and it also works great on apostrophes questions on the English sections. All right, tip number 3, I want you guys to read the questions first when you're on the English section or the reading section. So if you're taking the digital SAT and you're on the English modules, make sure every single question you get to, you read it first before reading the text. It's just a way more efficient approach because then when you read the text, you know what you're looking for. Too many students are reading the text first and then going to the question and then having to go back into the text to look for the answer. So definitely use that approach instead. If you're taking the paper SAT, you should definitely go to the questions first on the reading section. You can either mark up where they're at in the passage, or you can just go find the answers to them. Much more efficient use of your time instead of reading everything twice. All right, tip number 4 is specific to the digital SAT. I want you guys to execute the English modules in an efficient and smart way. So I would recommend saving the time-consuming questions for last. What you should do is skip to number 15 immediately. That starts the standard English conventions, which are your grammar questions. Then you'll move into the expression of ideas questions, which are transitions and note-taking. Those are also easier, quicker questions. And then you can loop back to number 1 once you get all the way to the end. The beginning of the modules are words and context questions. Those are also easier and quicker. Then, I wouldn't say they're easier, but words and context are quicker. You should spend no more than 30 seconds on those. Then it will take you into the tougher craft and structure and information ideas questions, like logically completes the text, best supports a claim, function of a sentence. You want to save those for last because then you can pick up as many points as possible in the allotted time. And that being said, that's just one strategy of many that I have in a digital SAT self-paced course I designed just with you guys in mind. So if you're trying to up your English score on the DSAT, definitely sign up for my course. I'm going to link it up here and down in the description below. This course gives you everything, guys. You will get strategies for tackling every single type of question so that you can go in there with a solid game plan and feel confident in your answers. Tip number 5 is called nice numbers. So guys, this is a math strategy when you have very abstract, confusing questions with variables in them. So if you notice there's variables in the question and variables in the answer choices, you can actually pick numbers for the variables and solve the question. Once you get a number, then that is your magic number, and that's what you need to find when you go through the answer choices. So use the same numbers you assign for the variables in the answer choices till you get the same result, and that's the right answer. It makes the problem much more concrete and tangible and easy to understand. Quick tip, when you go test the answer choices, I would start with D because D typically is the right answer more often. College Board likes to bury the answer all the way at the end on these because they know it takes you longer to get there. All right, tip number 6 is also a guessing tip for the math sections. So guys, if you have no idea and they give you number answer choices, pick a middle number in the range. Cross off any outliers first. So if there's a number way outside of the other given numbers, get rid of it, and then go with the middle number of what's left. That is going to give you a way higher probability of picking up the point than if you pick an outside number. All right, guys, if you're liking this video so far and you're finding it helpful, show me some love and hit the like button below. Tip number 7 is if you're running out of time. Sometimes this might happen. I hope this doesn't happen to you guys on the test, but that's part of taking a test. So let's say you're on the reading section or an English module and you have only a couple minutes left, but you have 10 questions to go. You know there's not enough time to be able to actually read the questions and answer all of them. So what I would recommend is a strategy called Christmas Train. What you're gonna do is you're going to string like a set of Christmas lights, your answer all the way down the bubble sheet. So pick A and just stick with A all the way down, or pick B and stick with B all the way down. That is because some answers out of the 10 are going to be A or B. So if you stick with one letter, you are guaranteed to pick up points because you will eventually hit the ones that are, answer choice A or answer choice B. My recommendation would be to use the letter D because I find that College Board designs the sections so that there's a slight uptick in the chance of the answer being D towards the end of the section. Again, I hate to say it, but they want you guys to fail. So they know that you're running out of time at the end, so they're gonna bury the answer at D more because they know it takes you longer to get there. Tip number 8 is work backwards. So if you're stuck on a math question and you have numbers as your answer choices, start with the answer choices and plug them back into the problem to see which one works. This is a much easier approach than trying to figure out how to set up an equation, especially if it's a word problem that involves setting up a system of equations. Sometimes that can be really confusing and difficult to do for students. So I would definitely start with the answers, start with a middle number, and if the number you pick is too high, then you know it's going to be A or go down. If the number you pick ends up being too low, then go up. It'll save you a lot of time though if you start with a middle number and not a number on the ends. All right, tip number 9 deals with geometry. The geometry questions are some of the toughest on the test. So my first tip with the geometry questions is to just skip them, guys. Prioritize those dead last because they take the longest to figure out. But when you are on a geometry question and you're still having a tough time, even though you've prioritized it last, if it's drawn to scale, you can actually use your bubble sheet as a ruler. It's really awesome. So if you don't see something under the picture that says figure not drawn to scale, that means everything about the picture is accurate. Take the edge of your bubble sheet, measure a side length that they give you, and then see how many times it fits to determine the other side length that you need. All right, tip number 10. Like I said, this is my favorite tip, and I need you guys to trust me right now. You might think that this is a little crazy, but if you're on a math question and you have to fill in your answer or grid in your answer, basically if it's not multiple choice and you have no idea, put the number 3. I'm telling you guys, the number 3 comes up as the right answer on the SAT more than any other answer I've ever seen. It's so bizarre. So at least it gives you a fighting chance. Don't leave it blank, shot in the dark, but just put 3. All right, I'm curious, what's a strategy that you use on the SAT that I haven't mentioned in this video? Go ahead and comment below and share it with the YouTube community. I'm sure you're gonna help someone else with your strategy. And that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, type in hacks in the comment below because hopefully you'll use all these hacks that I gave you on this video. And best of luck in the test on Saturday. I'll be thinking about all of you guys. Until next time, happy prepping.